Hey everyone, it's Amber and welcome to another video. It's a little bit of a rainy, dreary day today and I absolutely hate rainy days. I just feel like I can never get anything productive done. So after having a mental crisis for most of the morning and just sitting on my phone doing nothing, I decided that maybe I should try and do something with my life. For all of my 10 or whatever viewers, I'm doing this video for y'all. It's so funny. I look back at when I started YouTube. I used to have so many people watching my videos, but then now it's I guess it's what happens when you don't post for a really long time. Why am I surprised? I wanted to go over some of the books that I got in February, and the funniest thing is a vast majority of these books literally came the last day of February, and there's some that are the beginning of a new series, which I'm really looking forward to because then I can make another little funny beginning of the series review and everything. If you haven't watched my last one, make sure to check it out. I did a little bit more funny editing and stuff, and this video is going to be a little bit more straightforward. Let's go over the books that I got for February. So starting us off with our manga, we have the second volume of My Happy Marriage. I have not read the first volume of the manga yet, but I have said this, that I have read up to about almost halfway through the second volume of My Happy Marriage, so if I had to take a guess, this is still probably on the first volume of the light novel. It is my intention to probably finish the second volume of the light novel, maybe within the next couple months. I'm just trying to play around with some of these other ones. I want to finish one of the books that I got this month, and I want to start working on finishing up Heaven's Official Blessing, so I'm caught up with the current releases, so it's kind of my plan. So moving on to another one, I have the first volume of In the Clear Moonlight Dusk. If I'm not mistaken, this is from the same person who wrote Daytime Shooting Star. I don't know if I actually got all of the manga for it yet. So on my shelf from before, I have up to 10. So I don't think I'm completed with Daytime Shooting Star, but I think I'm pretty close. So this is the first volume of this book. This book is bigger, in height, than Daytime Shooting Star. So, and I'm looking forward to it because from what I recall, Daytime Shooting Star had a really nice artwork and everything. I wasn't a really huge fan of the love triangles. I've said this multiple times. So it lost me a little bit towards the end, especially my problem with love triangles is if there's a love triangle and my person isn't picked, then I don't have the desire to keep reading the story. So I just clear people. So moving on to another new manga is I have volume number 1 of My Secret Affection. I am planning on doing a review on this one. I have already read this one and I think it's interesting because it's a little bit of a different take on the typical shoujo, if you want to say. So I'm looking forward to continuing to read this. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, make sure to keep an eye out for the review video because it's definitely a different take, and I'm interested to see how this goes. I was not expecting this when I bought this book, so it was a surprise. But sometimes there are good surprises out there, so there's nothing wrong with that. So moving on to another volume, that's the first of a series. I have the first volume of Game Between the Suits, and at the time I did not realize this, but this is another steamship title, so technically I might have all the steamships titles now. I need to look and make certain, but since I have made a review on the first two other steamships, which is the Crown Princess one and then the Beast one, I will probably also do another review on this. I have not read this yet, but of course always keep in mind steamships are going to be more of your 17, 18 plus content. And from what I could tell when I looked through it, I'm really interested in reading it. I looked through because I wanted to see how crazy it got. And it looks like there's some plot. And it also looks like I might not like the main character, the guy, which sometimes I actually enjoy though. You can't just start out with these perfect characters. There's gotta be something, and then maybe later on you realize that something's happened in their lives and you kind of sympathize with them. So I'm looking forward to reading it. And I'll have to check and see if this is the last steamship title from their new batch. I'm not I'm not 100% certain. Moving on to my last 2 manga that I bought. This is a series that I was collecting before I kind of took a break, and I like love this series. I tried to read it online. I really couldn't find it online, so when I took the break, I was like, oh my gosh, because the volumes were taking forever to come out. And then I think the other day I was looking and we're like in volume, I think we're almost in the teens, which I'm really excited for because I just bought 2 of them and I want to like read it again, but I remember really enjoying this and I probably need to refresh my mind and like read the others before it because I like want to know. And that typically is what happens. Like usually if I have a really long gap between series, I end up like, say I bought like, for this instance, I bought 7 and 8, so then I typically will read 6 again and then jump into them so I kind of remember. So moving into the last 2 books that I got, I have volume number 7 and then I have volume number 8 of Something's Wrong with Us. I really enjoyed this. This was like my introduction to your like mainstream josei, I guess is what we would consider this, since technically it's for older teens. And the thing that I like about this is it has romance, but it's not the full interest of it. And what really interests me is there's just like whole murder side of it. So it's so easy to like the plot of it, and it's really interesting because it also is like there's this whole aspect of like murder, right? And then there's this whole aspect of candy because they're like candy makers, which I thought was really cool. And then also this whole romance side. If you kind of like romance as a side thing and you don't want something that's like shoujo because that's also sweet and light and fluffy and all the type stuff, then I would highly recommend this because the romance is like an extra little like chef's kiss. But there's so many other things working for this series, so you're not like depending upon it like a lot of others. And then moving on to the last one that I have, and I've mentioned this in the past 2 videos, I believe, maybe 1. I have the first volume of Raven of the Inner Palace. I watched the anime for this, and then I'm working my way through the light novel. It's not that the light novel is really difficult or looks like it's going to be hard to read at all because it looks like fairly easy. I just haven't had the time, and I think right now the anime is still like so fresh in my mind that when I'm reading this, I feel like I'm just watching the, like, like I just watched this. There's not, so far there hasn't really been that much that's different. I have said this before, when I purchased it, I was shocked because it was plastic wrapped, and I don't understand why it's plastic wrapped, so I'm really hoping maybe as I get into it, I'll kind of like understand, because I was confused. So that's all I have for this month's manga haul. Like I said, I'm looking forward to getting back into the manga stuff, and I've been reading more and purchasing more, which is always nice, right? Because then I can make more content for you guys, and like I said, hopefully you guys enjoy what I'm doing, and if you do, make certain to subscribe because I like to know that people like seeing me act like an idiot if I'm spending all this time. It's like my inner dialogue. I'm like, should I edit this video or should I work? I'm like, I should edit the video. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Bye!